Hello, everyone. My name is Lydia Ray. I am originally Indonesian, but I've been living in the UK for just over 10 years now. And currently, I am working as an analytic solution architect at AWS. So my day to day is meet the customers, helping them bridging the gap between the business and then the tech, find a solution for any specific use case. And specific industry that I work on is media entertainment, betting and gaming, and sport segment in UK and Ireland.
Nice. Good stuff. I think, I guess for the people that are listening, I guess an overview of what we are gonna cover, around the podcast is gonna be heavily AI focused. Obviously, that's a very big part of your job. We'll be covering, I guess, areas within AI that are very important, like responsible AI. Obviously, you're very big within women in tech, so we'll be covering elements in that. So yeah, it's going to be a good conversation. But I guess before we dive into the I guess the nitty gritty sort of stuff and the more sort of AI focused stuff, I guess firstly it'd be good to understand, like, I guess a run through of your journey and how you got where you are today.
Okay, interesting question and an interesting journey that I have because when I was like high school, I hate programming of coding um, lessons. Wasn't in Indonesia when I was in Indonesia. Programming a computer is complementary like lessons. It's not like the main lessons or a main course that you have in high school, and I hate it because I remember like the test is about Pythagoras like a
Yeah.
formula, and you have to put it in C++ that time the formula in coding and so on, and there's specific way to do it, and we just have to remember like how you put all this code and syntax and so on. So I hate it. And I didn't like it at all. And I went to uni in industrial engineering that I know I still like logic. I still like problem solving. So I go into uni in engineering and I got into tech because when I graduated, I was starting working in manufacture. I think if I being put in like R&D, for example, research and development or innovation department, it will be different. But that time I feel like the work's kind of repetitive in manufacture. It's a long time ago. Now it's probably completely different. Um, and then I saw a job in a consulting company. It's in Malaysia. It's recruitment. They recruit students, fresh graduate, and so on. So I take the chance because I know like 100% not happy in the job, and I might not happy in the new job, but like there's a 50% chance. Let's just try it. And I remember I was the last student or fresh graduate that being interviewed that day. So the interviewer that became my like project lead and so on, he said like I asked question to so many people and I'm gonna like want to do, you are the last one, so I want to do a different way. I want you to ask questions to me. And my question was, look, I have no programming background at all. And this is IT consultancy company. How can I survive here? And he mentioned there's a training, there's your peers helping. Okay, fine. And then I got the job and I work in data migration project and I enjoy it. My first programming language was SQL and I love it. And I think that I can stay there and get basically climb up the ladder. But I thought I lack of the foundation knowledge. So I decided to go for my master's, going to the UK, to basically take one step backward to move 2 steps forward. And then since then, I always work in data. In that time, I'm very specific when I chose my master's. It wasn't that popular at that time, like data roles. And some of my colleagues even say that, are you going to learn Excel's formulas in the specific roles, a specific course? It's called data architecture professional and things like that. It's talking about big data. Of course, that time Oracle was the big thing, SQLs and Python and so on. But I think I made the right decision and I know this is the path that I want to do. And when I moved to the UK, all my friends in my English course that time probably. So remember this, I met some of them in London already, and then they said, you made it, because I said like, maybe one day I want to work for Google or Amazon. And here I'm today. I'm in AWS. I mean, the path is a long way, about like 7 years. And then now here I am today at AWS.
There you go. What a journey. I guess from yourself, I mean, there was a part I think in your journey where something sort of made you catch on to data. I guess what was that? What made you um being not interested, I guess, in sort of like you said, coding and that side of things? What made you go into the data side of things? What was it, just taking a shot and seeing if it goes, or was there anything specific that caught your eye within data that said, you know what, this is right for me?
I'm not entirely sure, but like when I hate coding, because I hate things that we need to remember so many different things. So I like logic, you like physics, in my point of view, you remember one formula and it will answer like 5 to 10 questions. It's just how you put it through, and then problem solving and so on. And when the first time I knew about coding, it was basically the lecturer will say like, okay, this is the problem, this is how to solve it, remember it, and on the test or the exam you have to remember how. So I don't like to be defined on the how. Just tell me like where it start and then where's the end, and then let me figure that out, let me like find my own way. And I think when I got the job in the data migration project that time, I got that ability to finding my own way, innovate, or think the way that I should think, instead of somebody define like, hey, you have to write syntax this one and that one and just follow the rules. And that's why I get into data and enjoying that. So since I get into data, and I just interesting in problem solving that time.
Yeah. Nice.
And maybe it will be different if I get like maybe like full stack developer. Maybe it's the same path. I'm going to follow the full stack developer. But that time I find it interesting in data, finding insight in data, and I want to follow that path. And well, I guess my gamble or works, because now everybody wants to talk about data and now AI.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the hottest topic out there, and it's definitely not going anywhere. So you've definitely made the right move. I guess from your experience, I mean, I guess before we sort of move on from this, I guess what experiences, I guess, best prepared you for your role at AWS? Because obviously, a lot of people see that as sort of the end for a lot of people, because that's, you know, working for a company like AWS is obviously a big thing. You've obviously done very well. So I guess what sort of experiences sort of prepared you for that role?
Okay, the different, I mean, in my specific role, obviously I work kind of like in a technical role. So some technical knowledge is important, not particularly for AWS services, but for the industry, like data and AI, if you want to go into this industry. But also the second thing is um, kind of learn and be curious, because pace of development, innovation in AWS is really, really fast. Even like those things that we launch every year in AWS reInvent, as working at AWS, we knew a lot of things that being developed behind the scenes already. So we need to keep up, because it might come out soon, launch soon. So we have to be the person who knows, because people or our customer expect you are the expert. You should know about these things.
Awesome. I think what we'll do is we'll definitely dive in further into, I guess, what you're doing and that side of things as well, because I think that will like cross over with the AI conversations that we'll have. I think for the audience as well, I guess for those that I guess don't know you, I guess how do you outside of work, I guess how do you like to switch off from, I guess, the data and AI? What do you like to do as I guess your hobbies or anything outside of work?
Interesting, because first of all, I like what I'm doing, not remove all the brand of the company or anything. I like what I'm doing. So I feel like I'm quite lucky, because I found something that I like to do, and then it pays for a living. So a
Yeah,
lot of people say like, oh, you really enjoy these things. And even on outside work, I always think about this topic or this
yeah,
area, looking for courses. And it's difficult. Even my husband always say like, if people give you 48 hours a day, you're still going to do the same thing because you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the only thing for me to switch off is actually doing horse riding.
Nice.
I've started on it about like just a year before COVID happened. So about like 4 or 5 years ago now. Because when I did the horse riding, I'm doing like a practicing on show jumping. I haven't been in any competition yet. I haven't had my own horse yet. But I can't think about anything. I don't have my phone with me, so I cannot check social media or checking emails. And I can't think of anything else because I have to focus with me and then make sure the horse going to the direction that I need to do. So that is the only way. Like every week, I'm going to stables, doing my session in horse riding with my instructor, and that is make me completely switch off, not thinking about anything on work or anything related, just think about what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah. How did your passion start for horse riding?
It's accidentally started when I went to Portugal to visit my husband's friend and their families. And that time, the daughter's doing the horse riding lessons. And my husband friend said, like, hey, have you done it before? No.
Oh, and you joined in.
Try. I enjoy it, but I didn't think like I want to pick up in the UK because, okay, it's one time thing. But then my husband think like, I look so happy. And then he think like, I need to do something outside tech.
Yeah.
So I decided like, okay, I already register you to this horse lessons it was like 4 lessons in a month. And then since then I just carry on.
Nice, nice. I think, do you know what? I think it's obviously it's amazing to hear someone that's very passionate about what they do, because obviously being in the sort of AI sort of data space, you're very sort of submerged into a, I guess, an industry that's constantly evolving. It's obviously very exciting, and it's with everyone's day to day life. So I know what you mean, where you say sort of you almost can't stop thinking about it because it's just there. Like you sort of there's so much to explore that you'll never sort of hit the ceiling in that sense. So would you say that, I guess, would you say like your horse riding and that side of your hobbies, would you say that helps you manage your stress and avoid sort of burnouts? Is that something that helps you? Because obviously, as you said, it helps you switch off and get off from your phone. You can't talk to anyone. No one can bother you. Is that something that I guess helps you to manage your sort of balance, I guess?
I will think so now. I mean, since you mentioned it, I will think so because yes, I enjoy what I'm doing. And then you're reading article, you're reading newsletter all the time about tech, you think about it. And at some points you feel like, ugh, I need to learn new things all the time. And you feel like you're always behind because, the pace of technology now is accelerating. New thing every week, new models, new buzzword, all these things. And having something that completely not related to tech helped me to like just switch off and then just be present and enjoying the moment. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I
Awesome.
agree. It's just give me like a break to like, okay, forget about tech. It's not gonna going anywhere anyway. Enjoy
Just
it.
reset.
Some
Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, let's bring it back, I guess, more towards the foundations of AI and data. I guess a lot of people, like we just sort of discussed, I guess AI is everywhere, I guess, right? So a lot of people use it for different things, and a lot of people have, I guess, different opinions about it. You know, the goods, the bads. Obviously, we'll talk about the sort of responsible AI later. But I guess from your view, someone that's really submerged into AI, I guess, how do you see AI? And I guess, what does that sort of, I guess, mean to you in that sense?
okay, there's a lot of people afraid on like, oh, AI will replace our job. I agree with people who say like our job will be evolved with AI. And I read this book from Tian Kai about like humanizing AI strategy and how he predict AI will be in the future. So obviously, the predictions could be right, could be wrong. We never know. We haven't arrived there yet. But there will be a lot of jobs augmented with AI. But I never think that it will completely replace human in the loop because at the end of the day, it's for human and developed by humans. And you've seen a lot of stories that when you uh, let AI run by on its own, it's go completely wrong. That's what I think. And it is important for any organization to look at of the foundation of data or AI correctly, even than before. It's not interesting things like building a house. I always put this analogy, like you're building a house, the foundation, the rocks underneath, all of those things is never interesting. No one ever see it. You only see how the interior design of the house, how the house looks like, which is really nice. But and you will never realize that when you realize it's wrong, it's when the disaster happened. If your foundation is broken, there is flood, and your foundation is not strong enough, your house will be like destroyed and so on. And in the past, we don't really think this intentionally because, again, with the house, imagine the house in the past is just one floor house, like bungalow. There is nothing in it, only very simple. But now people like three flat storage house with swimming pool, with gym inside, and a lot of different things. And now, like, you have to build a proper foundation because you want to build 3-story house. Now it's more important because now the soil type is changed because climate change. The same like data.
Yeah.
Really high. You need to even stronger on that.
I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, I guess following on from that, I guess in your role at AWS is how do you help organizations build that strong sort of data foundations of AI?
Okay, so obviously, talking from AWS perspective, we have a lot of services that we believe that's a strong data foundation, strong services to help our data foundation, and we advocating on telling how important is data foundation. Yes, AI is provide you is more visible impact or real impact on your organizations, but how the foundation is important is also something that they need to think about. And as my role in solution architect at AWS, we always take a step back when we talk to the customer. Hey, we want to build amazing chatbot. Okay, what is the chatbot about? What is the use case? Where is your data? Is it stored properly? And then, do you know its data is in good quality? Because if you build AI on top of the bad data, it's still bad decisions. And I personally usually looking into asking, hey, you have the dashboard now. Do you actually make decision using that dashboard? If it's not, maybe it's not a time to build AI. It's expensive. It's not cheap. There is an investment that you need to do. And it will make decisions a little bit more automatically, which is you have to offset if you don't trust your dashboard. And how can you build AI from the same data?
Nice. I think what's going to follow on from that is because obviously you've got a lot of, I guess, a lot of user experience because you deal with a lot of clients, right? So I feel like a lot of people might see AI as like a quick win or a quick escape or a quick transformation, right? So I guess from your view, I guess, have you experienced, I guess, organizations using AI wrong, or like how have sort of companies, are they utilizing it in a correct way in that sense? How have you seen companies sort of adapting to it?
Okay, so I think, in the past, the last 2 years, it's when people experimenting with AI, especially when generative AI came into the picture. People just think like, okay, yes, we build an amazing chatbot or we build an amazing things. We have an AI powered service, AI powered tool and so on, which is completely great. But I know I've chat with some customers to say like, have you measure like the investment that you put to all this token generation or whatever AI that you put like investment on the big machines that for training this AI? Is it actually converting to your revenue? 2 years back, no one really care about it because like, oh, we experimenting, we run hackathon and all these things. But I see now organization a bit more mature and start thinking about like, if we can run it in POC or like experimenting, but when you run for your production with huge amount of data, huge amount of user, is it still make sense? And I see the trend now where organizations start thinking about, okay, should we, yes, we have this great POC, but how are we going to productionize this? And then is it make sense? How we evaluate this and start thinking into that direction, not just running the POC and having like chatbot or things like that.
Yeah. It's almost like a risk to reward, isn't it? It's like understanding where you can use AI before, I guess, fully implementing it. I guess if you fully dive in without really understanding what you're doing, it could go. There's a lot of things that could go wrong.
Yes.
So I guess from your point, I think dealing with all these users and whatnot, clients. What would you sort of, I guess, wish the leaders knew before investing in AI? I guess what do you think?
I think they have to know is why. In AWS, we have a word called working backwards, and we have the workshop to help organization to think in that methodology or approach as well. To one actually understand like what is exactly you want to solve, what is the business problem you want to solve, how you measure yes you solve it as success criteria, and then from there let's look into like what you can do, how AI can help. Is it okay to put AI in it, or no, you're gonna spend so much investment but no return back to your revenue and your organizations? What does that mean? So understanding exactly what the problem's trying to solve. I forgot who talked about this, that you have to fall in love with the problem, not fall in love with the solution, because you're gonna keep thinking like, okay, this is the problem, how I'm gonna solve it, but not just thinking about the solutions.
Yeah, I
Put the
think
problem.
that's a problem solver mindset. That is, that's what it is. I think diving a little bit deeper, I guess. What are sort of what are the sort of, I guess, limitations of AI that you see that sort of people underestimate? Because I feel like AI is such a powerful tool. I feel like there's still sort of limitations within it. I guess, well, what sort of, I guess, limitations do you see of AI that people underestimate?
We always forget that AI learn from human, the behavior. Even LLM is from whatever people put publicly on the internet. And it's not just reflect us, but like it's learning as well from the feedback that we give, right? From the whatever prompt that we put into AI or chatbot type or GPT type applications. And we forget that we think that, okay, to make sure AI built ethically is just the regulator or policymaker that need to put policy in place. It's those people who build AI tool need to put guardrail. But we forgot that the limitation of AI, they also learn from the input that being given. Like us, the non-tech people who put in Google or Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever type things that you try to find the answer with, they also learn from that input. And we sometimes unconsciously just put random things without educating ourselves how actually to be ethically put prompt in it, how actually when you use AI tool, being critical on like what data you use, are you have my consent, are you not, and so on. And people forget about that they learn from us.
Yeah, nice for sure. I think we'll talk about like the responsible AI in a second as well, because that covers parts of what you just mentioned. But I guess before we do, I guess what excites you most right now about AI and analytics space? What would you say is, I guess, booming right now?
In AI and analytics, things, but particularly this year, everyone start thinking to make it the real things, not just a POC, not just experiment, but something's actually useful. And I can see in some use cases that yes, this useful for AI, but it's not. I like things that I can see practically works, not just theory. That's like that's usually like my interest. Seeing like at the moment, like excited, like there's a lot of things that AI can help to research quickly, to find things quickly. There is a lot of things that accelerate by AI, which is really great. But what excites me most as well, like people start caring about how to build it ethically. And I heard a lot of people to see like how we build ethical AI. People start being very conscious what they put in the AI and so on.
Yeah, I guess moving on from that, I guess obviously as we sort of are discussing very much, like AI is very obviously powerful. So I guess being responsible is obviously very important, right? So I guess from your point of view, I guess when you hear sort of responsible AI, I guess what does that mean to you in the real world sort of context?
Okay, so again, AI reflects and even like magnify what people like doing day to day, and we don't realizing it, right? So for me, responsible AI, it's an AI that is understand that we're a diverse humans is actually helps human and not discriminate any certain group of peoples. And of course, there is no bulletproof, like we have one single rules for responsible AI that going to apply to entire world. Each region might have a different way to say what is fair for this particular area, what is fair for the other particular area, because of it's complex as human and culture is complex things to say like fair for everybody. So it will always evolve. But what I meant is just it's not harmful, as simple as that, and it is not discriminate a specific group of people.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point because we cover AI quite a lot through a lot of the guests that we have, and we've had this conversation before, and where you know there's been cases where you know this is really sad to be fair because there's people where if someone's feeling say suicidal or something and they ask AI how to do something before it was assisting. I'm not sure if it does now, but there was cases where it was assisting how to do something, which obviously is what we're just sort of mentioning. I guess it's using AI in sort of in the wrong way. It shouldn't be allowed to use in that way. It shouldn't be accessible for that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's still like it's still I still feel like it has a long way to go for people to sort of use it responsibly in that sense because you can't be reliant on it. For myself personally, like I I don't use AI that much, just because I like to use I guess my own sort of thought processes and stuff. But for a bit of research and stuff, and yeah, it's really good. But I feel like there's a lot of people, especially maybe people that are coming in towards like a tech role. I feel like they're becoming more dependent on tech and not just tech, just life in general, like asking too much of it. And it could end up being, I guess, touching on that responsibility of AI section where you could be asking the wrong things or inappropriate things, which could lead to other areas. Um, yeah. But I guess from your side, I guess what concerns you most about sort of irresponsible AI use? Is there sort of things that sort of you see that or have you sort of heard that irresponsible AI is happening?
So because this AI innovation is accelerating, it's not like slowing down, it's accelerating. And that's why the responsible AI or work, having an ethical AI is important than before. My concern is it's difficult, right? Again, like because we're talking about like human culture, which human itself is very complex, culture itself is very complex, and how we define responsible. But the important bits, like my concern is like the literacy of AI. I've seen a lot of people start talking about AI governance, responsible AI, but if I speak to those who not working in tech at all, for them, I don't care about responsible AI because I am not impacted because I don't work in tech. But actually, you will be impacted because when AI being augmented in many of the job, many of the decisions, you'll be impacted. So my concern is like there is a large group of people that don't care where AI is going, or other just the ostrich. What's the ostrich? No, ostrich. What do you call not methodology that like if you see something that you worry about, like they worry AI will take over the job, so they
Mm.
just like close their ears, close their AI.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, actually, you have to know about it. You have to be critical about it instead of ignoring it. And a lot
yeah.
of people like going to like I'm going to ignore it because it's not going to relate for me. I don't like it. I hate it. I don't want to support it. When you care or understand what is going on, when you care about it, you can help AI develop to be more ethically instead of
For sure.
just for those people who care about AI, because it
Yeah.
will be there. So you have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I think moving from that is, I guess, how do we keep humans at the center of AI? So as AI scales, how do we keep, I guess, humans at the center of it? How would you say is?
Okay, so if we're talking about an organization side, of course, in specific roles, it has to be human in the loop, and actually own it, and actually say like, if it's, I think the AI is provide a biased result, have the ownership, have the confidence to say this is wrong, this is not right. And I read about this in, you might, anyone who already read the Humanizing AI Strategy from Fang book about human centricity in AI, is really great because he put this, looping back the conversation, like everyone in tech now using AI to provide answer, provide solutions. But because AI tone is so confident, and we think that we are wrong. And for those people who just get into tech, feeling so imposters, feeling empowered because there is an AI, and that is very, very dangerous for any organization, to make sure like people has to have the habit to validate like whether this is the right answer, always double check, and then challenging it. Every AI should have kind of like feedback loop to say like, this is a good answer, this is a bad answer. And we who use AI have to start using it. Prompts with conscience, like don't put privacy data or sensitive data, don't prompt in a certain way. And people has to aware how important AI literacy is, not just for tech people, but for non-tech. And it has to be like, they have to know why they need to care about. For the non-tech people, they shouldn't really care too much about the technology, but what is it that impacting them? The least they know how they understand what is that impacting them.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, naturally from this, I guess, discussing about people inclusion and that side of things, I guess we'll move on, I guess, more into, I guess, the woman in tech side of things, because obviously you're very passionate about that. And, you've done some amazing work in that area. So we can discuss more about that side. Because obviously that's a very big part, I think, in tech as well. And it has been for a while. So I guess firstly, I mean, what has it been like sort of building, I guess, a career for yourself as a woman in tech? How have you sort of experienced it as a sort of male dominant, I guess, industry in that sense, as a technology?
Does make sense. I think in the past it wasn't really a thing, right? I mean,
No.
we have less women, but there is less people advocating to say like women in tech when I joined tech. And when I study engineering, it's also the same, where less women in engineering compared to male. So I never felt different. Maybe I never recognized that there's a difference, or I feel imposter because of the, as a woman, I'm outnumbered by male colleagues. I just get used to it. So, like in the team, I'm the only woman in the team. That's fun. That's normal because it's been happening since I was in engineering. And I personally, because also I'm a little bit of tomboy, I play like football, I play basketball, so and never get into like talking about more female or early area or feminine area. That's why I feel like it's fine. But nowadays, because people start advocating, then I realize, oh yeah, there's a difference. I still a woman. I still like listening or waiting until my time to talk, while my male colleagues are a little bit more brave to show their opinion and so on. I still feel like I have to follow what they say unconsciously. I didn't did it like in purpose, or I didn't recognize it before, but I realized that. But what I'm trying to think as women in tech, is it tough? Um, yes and no, because I realize now, like I might have a different perspective. I more have like a women's side, feminine side, not just very logic as a male. Nowadays, in the past, I didn't realize it. I just follow the things. But now, because people also realize, and I have a lot of, I very, very grateful. I have a lot of colleagues, male colleagues, which is my ally, that very, very supportive in the career in tech and help me like advancing in tech. So I will answer like yes and no. By default, yeah, yes, because you have this woman nature to like, okay, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to follow things. But also trying to break the imposter syndrome. I surrounded by colleagues that very, very supportive at the moment.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think even now I feel like a lot of, especially within the last, few years, I'd say a lot more companies are sort of trying to push the boundaries in the sense of trying to, I guess, get more women into tech, which obviously is a challenge. It's not an easy thing to do because, again, not it's very much like going back to where you started. You weren't really interested in sort of that tech data front, and then you just found it and you was like, wow. So from yourself, I guess, you've been recognized as, Women in Tech Champion. You won the Tech Women 100 2025, some amazing awards. I guess, what did them recognitions, I guess, mean to you?
What is me? I never like think that I will want any recognitions. When I start actively supporting women in tech is when I joined the AWS Build Mentorship Program team to help mentoring women's. It's once a year program, free. It's from AWS, and then when I started that, I just want to. I think like, oh, I like organizing things, solving problems, so I'm gonna give back in this way. And it's kind of like snowball effect. I feel I own it, and then exploring more option to help more women in tech. And I never aim for the awards. And the awards that remind me like, okay, that is the example of it's just a good post to say like, hey, you've done the right things. People heard. If people heard and recognize me, it means like recognize the work that I did, and those people around it that helping me on this program, and also those women that joined that program, it will also be recognized. And if I can make it, everybody else can make it too. And the most recognition that I felt that makes me going is not actually specifically those that people see in the words, but those messages in my LinkedIn or people who tag me in the post that say like, hey, I got that job because of this program. I got that job because talking to you. Now I moved to this job and I'm confident. I'm doing public speaking now. I'm doing this thing. It's actually that kept me going. Those small things that people not see, but actually you see the actual impact.
It makes you feel amazing, doesn't it? Like how helping people. I think it's obviously a big part of our role. So for myself, obviously, I do sort of recruitment within sort of DevOps and cloud, but it is very much that. I know what you mean, the satisfaction of helping people, and it's a lot of people think just the end outcome, but it's very much the little things of helping someone you know
Yeah.
in certain areas, and it definitely goes a long way. It's them little things that push you through, I guess. But from yourself, I know you mentioned like mentorship quite a lot because it's sort of like I feel like you've got some really good mentors, like you said, from yourself, and you act as a mentor to a lot of people from the programs you run, and a lot of people that you support. I guess, what role has mentorship played in your journey, both sort of receiving and giving?
For mentorships, I have a lot of colleague who turns up also mentoring me, helping me. It's showing the pathway, and also a manager mentoring me. It's helped me as as person who being mentored. It helped me see things that in the different perspective from the mentor side, because we need someone to evaluate us. Where is our strengths and where is our weakness? To like, okay, there is a growth area for improvement. This area, and then this is your strengths. You want to double down on your strengths, and help you see, as in the tech industry, also help you see the industry wider because they have a lot more experience, they have different perspectives. So it helped me to validate my thought as well in mentoring. For being a mentor myself, I simply just giving back and sharing my experience to other female who want to get into tech or already in tech, and asking about like how I get into these points. My way could be like one way compared to 100 way that probably available, but just give them like visibility that, hey, you can go this path. There's also the other path. Basically showing them what is possible.
Yeah, for sure. I guess from yourself, what advice would you give women starting out in tech today?
Um, Asking question. If you feel imposter syndrome, that's valid. You will always feel that. I think it's not just female, probably male as well. Get into new things, always like feel imposter. And The second is ask questions. And sometimes you will afraid to ask male colleague questions. You might ask the female colleague. And if you see somebody in tech that you admire on LinkedIn, just try ask questions. You never know. Put a DM asking question, ask for their time. They might be too busy and they say like, oh, I don't have time. But there is some of them that is freely gonna like, yeah, have 30 minutes chat with me. I usually does that. I didn't realize how many people now like messaging me on LinkedIn, and I have conversation, 30-minute conversation, just tell the journey, tell your thoughts, and it's actually helped them. And you never know how many like women in tech that want to empower others will reply to your message and then will have a conversation with you and
For
try
sure.
new things. Because if you never try, you never know. And then that's what I did, especially when I was in AWS. Everything that I did is all new. If I liked it, I carry on in here. If not, I find something else. And that's the simple things that you can do.
For sure. I think if anyone starts in tech, they can message Lydia and then you can help. There you go. Any advice you can help for sure. I think from the experience that you've had, because obviously you've been in the industry for a long time now, you've got a lot of really good experience. What would you tell your younger self if I guess if you had to do it all again, would you change anything? What would you what would that look like, I guess? Or are you sort of happy with how the journey went? Is there anything that you would change?
Uh, do I change anything? Probably not, because if you see my story, right, you feel like if you actually realize you like tech from the beginning, you can just go to like a computer science university, and then you're going to work in tech earlier than you're supposed to be. But I might end up just working in Indonesia. It doesn't mean it doesn't great, but my path completely different. And because of what I have now, the ups and the downs, I can tell the story. And this is something that I always think when things not going my way, things happen really bad way, or I'm in the difficult situation, in the bottom of my career, bottom of my life. I always think like when I back on track, when I get up, this is going to be a lesson and a good story for something. And it's still a valuable things. So I don't think I will change anything, particularly in my career. If you force me what things that I should change, I probably start advocating about myself earlier, because I always really self-critical about myself, that people always think like, no, you're not that bad. And then
I think that's
basically,
normal. I think it's very normal for being very self-critical, it's for everyone. I feel like, especially when you start posting stuff out about yourself, first person that judges you is yourself. And it's the same with us. I mean, when we were starting like anything sort of content related, first person that will judge is yourself to say, "Oh, I'm not sure." But you just have to throw yourself out there, don't you? Especially like you're saying, the sooner the better, because everyone makes mistakes, and if you say something that's not correct, then it's not the end of the world, and
exactly.
you just move on. You just move on
Exactly.
for sure. Awesome. What we'll do is we're sort of coming towards the end, but this is the first time we're trying this, by the way. So this is going to be a new experience. We're going to try I guess, a lightning round, right? So we're going to just throw like some quick fire questions at you, and I guess it just builds a bit more context of on sort of, I guess, more like who Lydia is and what your thought process is, right? So I'll fire some quick questions at you, and just try to, I guess, to give me some quick answers and your thoughts on it, I guess. We'll see if it works. So first question: morning person or night owl?
Uh, Night owl.
Okay. One hobby you couldn't live without.
One hobby. I think is creative thinking.
What's your favorite horse riding memory?
Oh, when I first time I able to like jump from the actual bar, because you started a long time until you actually get the height of the bar. You always practicing on the like the bar is like in the ground, but the first time I'm able to do it, and that is It's like you tick the one milestones in horse riding.
Nice. One book, podcast, or resource you would recommend?
I watched Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of CEO. So that's one thing that I would recommend. And recently, I just read the Tian Kai Fang book I mentioned many times, Humanizing AI Strategy. He wrote about data strategy as well. Those two is really, really good because it's just make it real. Like it's not just about technology, and it's applicable for any tech stack that you want.
For sure. Nice. One word to describe how you feel about the future of AI.
Exciting. It's unknown. It could be good. It could be bad, but it's exciting.
For sure. One AI misconception you hear all the time.
AI will replace our job. AI will incorporate the job. The job slightly change, but it will never replace.
A recent moment when AI genuinely impressed you.
A recent moment when AI genuinely impressed me. I think looking for holidays. I'm going to Indonesia for a holiday in June. So I'm looking for like, okay, the budget and all these things. And it's provide the summarizations of what I need to do. I'm still going and figure out myself, but at least I know like what it's gonna look like and so on. I think that's it.
Yeah, nice. Explain your job in one sentence. That's the last one.
Yeah. This is complicated. Problem solver.
There you go. Awesome. I mean, it's coming towards the end. I guess the last sort of few questions just is sort of wrapping up on, I guess, what we discussed. So I guess for the listeners, I guess, what's the one key takeaway you'd love for the listeners to leave with?
Okay. There's two things for one is for AI. I hope that anyone who listens to this, either you're in tech, you're not in tech, you're not afraid of AI, you should understand you have the AI literacy. There is so many free course out there. There is a short one. There is a lot of like tech influencers sharing like what's about AI, trying to understand how it's going to impact you, how you're going to work alongside or live alongside AI within whatever industry you are. And it will help you. And I've done it with all my colleagues at AWS who, even not in particular in tech, but leverage AI to excel their career. And the second for women in tech, again, you just need to ask the question, try new things, and then put yourself out there. Worst case scenario, people will cringe, but like it's not gonna double your bills anyway. They're not paying your bills, so keep doing it, and you will find your voice, your needs, your brand, and then that's where you started to accelerate.
Awesome. And do you have any sort of upcoming sort of, I guess, meetups or talks or anything lined up?
I have in 2 weeks' time is in the procurement data related events. It's a virtual event. And then it's talking about data monitoring observability. It's particularly in procurement, although the methods or the theory is applied for any other industry or any other specific domain. Because yes, it's exciting when you deliver a big project, you have your data platform ready, but you have to maintain it to some extent, right? So I'm talking about the life after the big, massive congratulation of implementing a project. What you need to maintain?
Nice. And where can people find you, I guess, and follow your work?
LinkedIn is the best channels. So follow me on LinkedIn. I will post any like my event that I'm speaking to or my thoughts or my scribbles, anything. It will be in LinkedIn.
Nice. We'll put that in the bio as well, so people make sure people can follow your journey and ask you any questions. And the way we finish, Lydia, is we ask you a question from the previous guest, and you can ask a question for the next guest. So the question from the previous guest was, what part of your work gives you the fastest sense of gratification? Is it something that happens quickly or longer type of projects?
Um, I don't know about the durations, but something that's actually work in the real life. I mean, like for example, I'm going to talk about the Shable mentorship program. someone who messaging me to say like, hey, I mentioned this before already, like I got this job, or I am now like building something because of this. Those things that makes me keep going. So in the context of project, when the customers say like, hey, we implemented these things and then it's actually work, it give us growth, double the revenue or things like that, or reduce the time of our developer to work with, something that actually I can see and act real, that give me the instant gratification that you mentioned.
Nice. Good stuff. And your question for the next guest?
Oh, question for the next guest. Okay, so I think because I just gonna talk about it because we talk about AI, and then this is the era when people realize how you make AI worth it for the organization, not just experimental. So, three top advice for any organizations that is want to run AI, actually run AI in productions.
Okay. Nice. Awesome. Lydia, look, it was lovely to have you on this podcast. It was some really insightful sort of conversations around some really important areas. Um, yeah, thank you for coming here, and yeah, it was great to have you.
Much. Thank you for having
Awesome.
me.